Netflix has a new message for its employees, and it's a breath of fresh air for those of us who are tired of the woke Hollywood mob. The company is telling staff members to either be ready to work on content you may not agree with, or maybe you should be looking to work elsewhere. The question I have is, why do they have the guts that many companies, especially in Hollywood, don't seem to have? In its updated culture guidelines, Netflix added a section called Artistic Expression, which talks directly about the platform wanting to spotlight different views. It says, quote, "Not everyone will like or agree with everything on our service. While every title is different, we approach them based on the same set of principles. We support the artistic expression of the creators we choose to work with. We program for a diversity of audiences and tastes, and we let viewers decide what's appropriate for them, versus having Netflix censor specific artists or voices. As employees, we support the principle that Netflix offers a diversity of stories, even if we find some titles counter to our personal values. Depending on your role, you may need to work on titles you perceive to be harmful. If you'd find it hard to support our content breadth, Netflix may not be the best place for you." Whoa, bravo. I mean, we need more of this. In many ways, this helps people who might be considering working there. A Netflix spokesperson saying they did this in part so that prospective employees could understand our position and make better informed decisions about whether Netflix is the right company for them. I love this. Now remember, Netflix has come under pressure from employees before. Remember the Dave Chappelle special saga in October? His comedy special had some employees and activists up in arms over transgender jokes. After turmoil inside the office, Netflix didn't back down and sent an email to their staff saying the special was not going anywhere. They said, quote, "The variety and quality of our content is what members value most. Our hope is that you can be hugely inspired by entertaining the world while also living with titles you strongly believe have no place on Netflix. This will not be the last title that causes some of you to wonder if you can still love Netflix. I sincerely hope that you can." As a result, many employees gathered outside the company's Los Angeles offices to protest, calling for the special to be taken down. But Netflix stood its ground and kept the special on the platform. Now, there's news breaking today that Netflix has laid off 150 employees across the country, about 2% of their total workforce. So maybe this is a way to help the employees self-select who's going to go. But my question is, why is it that Netflix can stand up to the protests when other big Hollywood companies and producers can't or won't? Joining me now, my old friend Janice Min, the CEO and founder of Ankler Media. Janice, it is great to see you. Why does Netflix have the guts that no one else seems to have?
Well, really good to see you, Dan. I'm going to give one simple answer. It's economics. They are in a world of hurt right now. And I'm sure a lot of your audience may own some Netflix stock, have seen it drop 70%. And so this hard reality has set in that, you know what, we can't be messing around with things about culture, about who's offended by what, by people walking out, by people leaking confidential information about the business. And this sends a message that people, we are in a crisis. Let's all focus on the work. And I think if you open the window slightly on Chappelle, and the co-CEO Ted Sarandos came down hard on this topic, stood his ground. If you open the window slightly, he could expect a walkout over probably 100 shows in the next year.
Right.
And it gets in the way of doing business.
But I would think that a lot of these Hollywood companies, a lot of producers, et cetera, would have the same goals, right? Make money. We got to make sure. So it does seem, though, that others have caved. I mean, at Disney, for example, they didn't want to make a statement initially about the Florida law, and the employees sort of forced them to come and make a statement about it.
Yes, and then it blew up. I mean, that was a cascading disaster that happened, a slow motion disaster. And I think maybe some of your audience is aware that the corp comms person, Jeff Morrell, who had worked for the CEO, Bob Chapek, he was the one who penned the first statement that Disney sent out about Don't Say Gay. That person was exited from his job a few Fridays ago. The consequences of not saying the right thing, saying the wrong thing. I mean, you saw that end up blowing up both internally, but also externally with what happened in Florida and Governor DeSantis afterwards. It was just mismanaged from start to finish. And I guarantee Ted Sarandos and Reed Hastings from Netflix were watching that happen and thinking, how do we stay clear of all those political discussions from here on out?
Yeah, and do you think that this is going to be more of a trend moving forward, meaning seeing what happened with Disney, seeing what Netflix is doing, is it possible that more entertainment businesses are now going to say, let's go the Netflix route?
Well, I think we should be very clear that there are two separate issues here that I don't want to have necessarily be confused. One of them is Netflix has done an amazing job, and everyone is trying to do this, but Netflix definitely moved the conversation forward about doing inclusive and diverse content, reaching different audiences. Everyone can buy a streaming subscription, and they've done a really good job of reaching those pockets of audience. The other part of it, though, is even the most liberal people in town are frustrated, and I think particularly feeling like a little bit paralyzed about what to say, how to say it, when to say it. And I think that the powers that be, the people who control the money, make the money, are the hit makers. I think whether you're very left or very right, there are people extremely frustrated by the paralysis in fear in saying the wrong thing.
Of course. I mean, and look, we've talked about this on the show, about all the consultants that every film is now hiring. A specialist in this, a specialist, in mental health, a special in transgender, a special in race. They have to hire all these specialists. It's great business for the specialists, but it's insane in terms of how you go about making a movie.
Well, this has been a town, and it was a very exclusionary town for a long time, but it did put story first, and there needed to be a correction around what kind of people were going to be put on screen. Yeah. But then it became a sort of different set of rules. And I think that, Richard Rushfield, who's the chief columnist of The Angler, he always makes this point that people just want to be entertained. They don't want an anvil of messaging dropped on their head all the time. And you can have diverse content. You can have content with lots of representation, but make it entertaining. And he has asked this question before: when did entertainment become homework? Yep. And he believes everything from the Oscars to the Golden Globes, if they ever come back. Let's just have fun with this. This is what the world wants and what they need. The rest of life is really hard. Jobs are hard. They want to come home and chill out. Yeah. And I think that's really almost more what this is about, Hollywood getting back in the business of entertaining.
I hope. I think they've got a long way to go. Janice Min, great to see you. Thanks for coming on the program. Appreciate it.
Nice to see you, Dan.
Thank you for watching. Click the red subscribe button below so you can get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.